I wasn't doing this before. How you guys doing? HappyNaturalHorse.com. I can see my comments on here. I cannot see them on, I wanted to go outside and see it. It's a beautiful day. Absolutely gorgeous. Where my horses are. See how pretty it is? Oh, they're down there eating. See, they're moving and they're eating. So that's good. They need to move because I broke up a bale. Just hold on, because usually the live doesn't come on right away. How we doing? Oh my goodness. I can't believe it came on so quick. Wow. So, how I feel, the moment I felt like I failed the equine world. And it's a story about a horse named Juju. And Juju was a beautiful Hanoverian warm blood. And he came to me for me to be seen with my work on the pain point release. He was called to me from a vet. A vet called me and said, you need to come see this horse. I saw your presentation at the Richard Straight Clinic and I think you can help this horse. So this was many years ago. I really can't talk about the people that I work on now because it's sort of like that doctor disclosure thing. People don't like it for some reason. So, but I can tell you old case studies, and this one is really real. So what happened was, I went down there to see Juju, and he was a magnificent, beautiful Dutch warm blood. Apparently shipped over from Denmark. And somehow he ended up through the grapevine at a horse auction. He was massive. He was in pain. And he had sort of like string halt in the front leg. Couldn't put it down. And the little girl, she was about 14 or 15, was the only one that could touch him. I couldn't touch him. The vet couldn't touch him. The mom couldn't touch him. He'd kill you. And he was in a lot of pain. I'm telling you, a lot of pain. And I could see, feeling through his heart and seeing his eyes, that he had a rough life. You know, he had a really rough life. And I think he was about 10 or 12 when they got him. And he had a cracked hoof in the back. And it was at a boarding stable that was for riding people. It was poorly run. And the horses were horrible looking. And had crappy hay out and whatever. So the vet said, you know, what do you think it is? And I said, well, definitely a magnesium deficiency because he's all locked up and he was so tight. And he had, oh my God, you couldn't even touch the flank of him. The flank of him was so bad with he had major ulcers. I was like, this horse is really bad. And he's going to like hurt somebody because he was just in so much pain. And he couldn't put down his foot. He just couldn't put down his foot. So anyways, so what happened was, the lady, super nice. And I just told her, I said, look, I can help this horse, but only if you listen to me. And if you don't listen to me, I can't help this horse. You might as well just have the vet put him down because he's not going to go anywhere. There's nothing you're going to give this horse that's going to help him unless you listen to me. So anyways, I don't know why my hair is just all over the place. So anyways, I went ahead and I did some energy work on him, and I tried to have the little girl work on him, and we didn't get far. So he would lash out at us and kick at us, but he did let me do the energy work on him. And then, I gave her my recipe, and the vet said, well, I think we should add some more magnesium. And I said, yeah, but not the oxide, and that's all they sell. But I didn't want to argue with him because he was a vet. So he wanted to add it for at least 2 weeks. And I said, well, that's fine. So she went on the Big Sky. She went on the Stanley hay pellets. She went on the high track, and she had to order the bentonite clay. he had to have a ton of bentonite clay on top of the Big Sky. And so 2 weeks I come back, his leg's down. You still can't touch him. He's still, you know, a little less Frankie in the butt area. And so the little girl, I had her do a couple more things. We can only do little so much. And I said, he still needs to be on, he's going to stay on the Big Sky until, for his life, you know. And I said, so we're making progress because his leg is down. And he's a little calmer. But, you know, he was still fractious. So I said, we're going to give him another 2 weeks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have the vet out at the same time I come. And we're going to tranquilize him. And so we did. And he was much, much better on the 3rd week. The 3rd time I came out. So that was 2, 4, 6 weeks. Okay. He gained weight. His top line came up. And he was a lot easier to work around, but he was still thrashing out. And I don't know if it was because behavior issues or what, but mostly because he was in pain. So he tranked him. And then, you know, I put everything back in except I couldn't get the withers back in. So what we did was we physically put them back in. The vet helped me do that. And we got them back in. It took 3 times. And we finally got it back in. He was so tight and so calcium. His calcium was just all over the place, and it tightened him up. And calcium will do that. It'll lay down bone, and it will block other minerals if it's not absorbed into the stream right. And it was tying him up. Plus, he was on beet pulp. So beet pulp will tie up your horse. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Okay, so anyways, so I went ahead and I told the mother, I said, look, you let me know how it goes. You know, because he's completely put back in, he should be pain-free. And there was no way I could really test him because he was tranked, but he didn't respond. He reacted before the pain points and then did not react afterwards. So, and he looked balanced and he looked good, and she was staying on the program. She was doing great, and he started on apple cider vinegar. Well, I didn't hear from her. So, you know, I'm like, well, man, I wonder what's going on. So finally I texted her and said, hey, how's he doing? And she said, well, my daughter's out flying, doing flying lead changes, riding a bareback, running through the fields, and they couldn't ride him before then. And off they go. So the program worked. The pain point release worked. He was much easier to be around. So they started riding him. So then I told her about the connection, you know, with the horses, with the Carol Resnick principle. And so she actually paid me to come down and work with her daughter. And Juju was just an amazing horse. And so I had my farrier come out, and he fixed the little crack in the hoofs, and the hoofs got better from the Big Sky minerals. And the horse really connected with the little girl. And the little girl was able to do anything with that horse. It was amazing. And I just loved Juju. And no more was the leg coming up. No more. So I was really happy with it. And then, of course, winter came on and I didn't see them. And I had to go do my equine Timonium horse expo. Now, for some reason, every time I did a Timonium expo demo, I got some pretty decent horses and some pretty weird things would happen in the round pen. It was weird. So what happened was that rescue it was a rescue for horses and girls, like troubled teens. And they were there at the expo, and she wanted me to look at Juju. Well, they brought Juju into the ring. Now, this had been about 9 months later, okay? Now, I'm in a ring. I have all these people looking at me, watching me. I'm trying to give my demo. And here's Juju, back to where he was. Ulcers, coat looked horrible, a little underweight, pain points out everywhere. She completely went off the program when he was doing so well. And it broke my heart. It just literally broke my heart. And I didn't know what to say to him. I didn't know what to say to Juju. I was like, I don't understand. you know, and his eyes looked so sad. And he was so, so sad. And you know, he was grinding his teeth, you know, and the little girl, I mean, to be honest with you, I felt like smacking the mother. You know, how could you do this to this horse? How could you go from a horse that was in extreme pain, out in the pain points, you know, aggressive, to calm, easy to be around, beautiful, healthy coat, perfect weight, no ulcers, healthy, no more string hauled in the front, to reverting back to this, to where his ulcers started coming up. His, you know, his pain points were all there, every single one of them. So I made the girl do it in the show ring. I said, no, I'm going to have you do it because he's probably going to knock the hell out of me. And he wasn't really comfortable, but I was able to do him. And then I looked over after the demo was over. I said, why did you go off the Big Sky? Why did you go off my feeding program? He's a mess. And she looked at me and she says, well, I have to do what the barn says, and it's just easier that way. It's just easier that way. I don't know how else to tell you guys that I have been around Big Sky now. We've been on Big Sky now. The minerals that are 100% absorbable, perfect calcium phosphorus ratio with the magnesium sulfate, perfect ratio. You can listen to the talk show down here. I'm going to push the link below for you guys to do this when I get on my computer. And I failed. I felt like, you know, why would you do that? And that's my question to the horse world. Because it's easier? Because it's easier? You know, horses, they put up a lot with us, and they give us a lot. And we are the 100% human beings are their worst enemy, as far as I'm concerned. Had a practitioner. It's my first equine practitioner down in Southern Maryland. She got a chance to go to Turkey to a show barn. They flew her out there to put all the pain points back in, and she was doing some training there. She got back, and boy, was she's called me up. She was like, you won't believe it. She says, I almost got killed. They kept these horses in stalls 24/7. They didn't go out in anything. The only time they went out was to show jump. They didn't even have paddocks for them. She said every single one of them had an ulcer. Every single one of them tried to kill her. This is what we do to horses. This is what we do to them. And then I saw a quote today about there are some horse people that don't love horses. And that's probably the truth. And it's really sad. So my mission is to speak out. My mission is to, you know, I think about Juju all the time. He was a beautiful horse. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't seen him since. I have no idea if he went through the shipping lines. I have no idea what happened to him. But I felt like I failed him that day. So, so this video is about, you know, people, horses are not a commodity. They're not a, I mean, a lot of people use them as a commodity, but even if you're not going to use them as a commodity, why don't you have a commodity that's healthy? Why don't you keep your horse healthy? You know, wouldn't it be better to have a healthy horse than a horse with ulcers, sick, and in pain all the time? So get the books. You could buy both books for a special discount of $50 plus shipping and handling. That is a deal. That is a deal. It comes with a DVD, and I give all kinds of free stuff when I send it out to you. So go to my site, happynaturalhorse.com. Get the books and start educating yourself on how you can help your horses. Okay? So I'm thinking about calling him Sebastian instead of Titan. You see him? My big lug head. Bye, guys. Share the video.